Hello. So, how do we do a new program? From the main menu, you'd go to Program, and from there, we'll just hit New. For this time, we're going to do a program for in the hospitality area called Hospitality Manager. So one of the advantage of the Competency Weaver platform is, of course, we can do custom on-purpose program development. In this case, we're looking at an experienced housekeeper in a large hotel, and we want the person to graduate and be able to manage a housekeeping section looking after many floors. So I just created this section myself, and from there we just hit generate. So call it these. Don't do a whole bunch of difference. The big factor is what you put in this part. Now you can import a whole page, paragraph, things like that. So hitting generate. So in general, once again, for the platform, anytime you see a yellow button, it means it's going to be some AI generated content using our large language models and proprietary data structure framework, which is of course based on competency-based education. Once again, at the top, you see the breadcrumbs allows you to know where you are. So now you see we went from program to professional analysis, and here we go. So this is um, an evaluation of the soft skills, knowledge, and abilities required for the goal of the program. You'll notice, for example, in the soft skills, stress management shows that 50%, the estimation is, of course, it's an approximation, but 50% of the jobs out there require some level of stress management, and it's been stable. Where on the other hand, communication is required for that position that we defined 95% of the time, and it's increasing. So it's more and more. So from that page, you can remove some if you want. And then you go on to the next stage, generate competencies. Once again, Competency Weaver uses a strict competency-based education approach, and the whole framework has been the focus and the structure of the Competency Weaver process, and that's why we get such a good results. There are a lot of data structures you don't see here, but it all makes it work like a charm. So after a little bit of time, you see it's taken our program and now it's given us, it's created 4 program competencies, so the large, broad competencies. For example, the first one is manage and supervise housekeeping operations. Then coordinate and collaborate with other hotel departments, evaluate and enhance staff performance, implement and monitor inventory. So basically, this is all the stuff we estimate that a student needs to learn, whether he's in an educational institution or it's a professional student. Now, Competency Weaver, AI generation, but it's always AI generation with a human expert in the loop. That means if you're not happy with a certain part, and actually it's very important that each step of the generation, the user has the chance and should really fine tune the result. So for example, if you click here, you can actually change things. So instead of time management, you could say management, but I like time management. So after that, you do save. I think this is pretty good. From there, a couple options you have, once again, with these buttons. We have 4 competencies, but you could regenerate with 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 10 competencies. As I said, I like the 4. I think the division is good. But for learning objectives, I think I'll break it down. I only get 4 of them. So that means there will be 4 learning objectives per competency. Notice that every time the generation goes on, you see the little turning wheel here, and the other buttons turn gray because they're disabled. This is when you have to wait. And there we go. You see the results as they come in. So for the first section, manage and supervise housekeeping operations, Um, the learning objectives are these: develop and implement housekeeping schedule, supervise and train, apply effective communication and leadership skills, evaluate and implement health and safety. Now, once again, whether you're a school or you're a hotel, maybe you're looking at training your people, you can go in here, click, and then you can change things. Now, I won't change things. You could also generate more learning objectives. Now, it's still working, so we'll wait, actually. And you see they apply, they appear as they're generated. So for evaluate and enhance staff performance, there's probably performance, whoops, there's performance reviews, training programs, lead staff meeting. This is all very complete. Okay, let's say we're happy with this. The next step would be to generate the curriculum. Curriculum is basically going to be grouping these learning objectives into difficulty levels so that all of the simpler learning objectives are grouped together and are done first. And there we go. Here you see. So notice the course numbers. The first digit is a difficulty level. So course 201 is easier or than the course 301. And that's how things are grouped together. Each of them, the number of the learning indicator guides you as to where it's coming from. 1.3 tells you it's coming from competency 1, as you see here, and hovering, you see the competency. Um, from here, you're welcome to drag and drop these things and change the order. So if you wanted to, if you thought this 1.3 and 2.3 go well together, you would drag it. Whoops, you could drag it and bring it here. But let's say we're happy with the way it was. That's how the curriculum development works. So this is basically the mini program you've developed. Now, let's say you want to go further. Let's go back to the competency page. You're here. And let's say we're looking at the staff performance and we want to now develop some activities. Anytime you want to evaluate people or generate some learning, it always starts with the rubric. Make that bigger. So rubric or criteria is essential in competency-based education and even more essential with our framework. This is what allows good activities to be developed, good role plays to be developed, and the evaluations of the role plays are generated automatically using that grid. So you see here in the activity development page, you see the course and the learning objective. You see here there's 3 learning objectives. This is 3.1, 2.1, and 1.1. But we're interested for right now in the performance review. So let's go on and develop the rubric. Yellow button, once again, it's going to be AI generated with user in the loop. Let's go for 3. We could change that. And there we go. So these are the 3 AI generated, but with competency-based education expert in the background that's worked on making sure they're clear and applicable to this learning objective. Effectively identifies area for improvement in staff performance using specific examples and data. Once again, you could go in here and change it. You could change a weighting factor. So this could be 40 and 20. You could remove a evaluation criteria, but of course then you'd have to do 60-40, or you could add a criteria. Now let's just stay with this, and then the blue button here shows that you need to save it because it's been changed. You save it, and then the next allows you to go on and generate the descriptors. There you go. There's always 2 descriptors per criteria, and the descriptors explains how the students can actually will demonstrate that they master the criteria. So for example, for constructive feedback, providing constructive feedback, The student should deliver feedback in a clear and specific manner, outlining actionable steps, and it communicates feedback with empathy, ensuring staff member feel supported and understood. So maybe I'll do empathy, um, optimism, and there we go. So I've put my little bid in. I think it's really important to be optimistic when you do evaluation. Realistic, empathic, but also optimistic. So you see, blue button is save, saved, and then we go on to next. Rubric is the actual table version of what you're looking at for evaluating. Once again, it's all related to the performance reviews. Waiting a few seconds here. This is all happening real time. And there you go. So for the two criteria that I have, which note that I don't say that these two criteria are adequate. Just for the demo purpose, I deleted the one and I had to make sure that the total made 100%. So, and right now I've got 4 levels. This is adjustable, but for each of them, you'll see that each of the descriptors are in a paragraph, and it's the qualifier. For example, you show some ability to use performance metrics, where here you're able to use performance metric, and then here you excel at using performance metrics. So this is how things are going to be evaluated. Now, you see we're at rubric. Next is green, and activities is the next step. So we click here, and then let's create a role play. So I haven't done performance evaluation in a while, or maybe it's my first time, so I'll do a role play. These are things you can specify for the role plays in the personalization. If you want to make this about a specific hotel, a specific country, state, or whatever you can do that. In this case, I'm not going to specify anything. And then other than with an employee that does not accept criticism well. So then you hit generate. Now, two things about this category. Summative is basically it's like an exam, whereas formative is actually for learning. You'll see in the formative when we actually generate the role play, you will see that it will actually give advice and coach the students when he needs to. So what are we looking at here? So this is the scenario for the role play. Overview gives you just that. And the detailed information, let's make that a little bit bigger. So this is the competency we're evaluating, learning objective, conduct performance reviews, evaluation criteria, because of course this role play is not just for fun, although it can be fun, but it actually will generate an evaluation. So student's role, Alex Johnson, he's the housekeeping manager at a large hotel, responsible for managing a team of housekeepers, conducting performance reviews and ensuring high standards. Who do we have else? We have Maria as an AI person, defensive, sensitive to criticism, hardworking, but inconsistent in performance. And then there's a typical exchange in here. Now, maybe we don't like something about this. No problem. We can just go edit and go and edit the part of the script. So, for example, if we want to change the name or if we want to add the name of a hotel, we could do that here. But for now, we'll just do cancel because I think this is pretty good. This is how you generate a role play. Starting of the role play, basically this will allow me as a developer or the program developer or faculty to actually experience the role play as the student will. So this is the role play screen. This is where the conversation is going to take place. Okay. This is the scenario. So this is the same sheet we saw earlier. Okay. If I need as a faculty member, if I need to refer to that as a student, the student doesn't get to see that. All he sees is here. So he knows the performance learning objectives, and he needs the criteria. So gets a bit of information, and then Mario enters, "Hi Alex, I saw the meeting request. I just want to say up front, I've been trying to really hard to get up and everything. I hope you've noticed the effort I've been putting in. Okay, what do I do?" So this is where you converse as you would. Um, and this is what will be testing the students. I'll pause this while I conduct the interview, and then we can you'll be able to see the evaluation done.